Hi, my name's Fern, and today I'm going to show you how to do grungy, edgy eyeshadow without having to use black eyeshadow. So to give kind of a variety here, I'm going to do one eye in more of like brown tones and one eye in more of like gray, pewtery tones. That way you can kind of get a couple of different looks or ideas based on sort of a warmer or cooler toned profile, and I think that covers a lot of the bases, and I think you'll be able to see that you can get a lot of impact and a lot of kind of that cool grunge factor without just doing solid black eyeshadow. So this is something that I will do if I want to look kind of edgy and grungy, but I'm not going to be on stage or, you know, in a video or something where I really want the black dark eyeshadow to pop. This is more of that like everyday sort of grungy makeup, if that makes sense, or real life grungy makeup. So keep watching and we'll get started. So I'm starting off with the brown side, or bronzy, whatever you want to call it. And it's a really simple color palette. I'm going to be using like a matte bronzer or a matte like bronze toned eyeshadow to start. And then I'm actually going to be going in with some more like shimmery tones, but they're darker. And so it kind of enables you to have some softness and some blendability, and be able to sort of let the eyeshadow travel a little bit farther, like up and down around the eye, but still maintaining some softness. And so this initial color is to just sort of shape and kind of map out what you're going to be doing with the other colors and just add a little bit of like natural bronze warmth. These are actually pretty reasonably cool toned browns, even though they look sort of warm in the pan. They transfer onto the skin a little bit more cool toned, a little bit more neutral. So we'll be starting with the brown side, and then we'll go over a similar technique for the gray side. So the first product I'm going to go in with is actually going to be a MAC paint pot, and this color is called Groundwork. It's been one of my favorite go-to cream eye priming shadows for a long time, and yes, it is darker than my skin tone, but I like that because it is a super natural looking color. It's very neutral, and so it looks very skin-like on the eyes, and it kind of just looks like natural shading of the actual eye shape, but in the places that you want it, not just wherever your own face decides to see fit. So first we're gonna go in with a little bit of that. And it's not terribly dark, but it's just dark enough to sort of start to map things out. I pretty much use this as a base under everything. And I take it pretty high up. I don't go all the way. If I want more of an inner or an upper eyebrow highlight, I will use a different primer, like a soft ochre. But generally, I don't even feel the need to highlight my brow bone because I have more space, way more space here than I do between the lid and the crease. Yes, this eyeshadow is going to be taken up pretty high, so don't be afraid. That's the beauty of softer colors, is that when you put your eyebrows on and you put mascara on, a lot of the time those colors soften and recede back into your face. It's not so punchy like doing a straight black shadow, but there's just something about it where you still look kind of grungy and a little bit messy, but in a really like glam hot way. So I'm gonna go in with this bronzer. It's actually a bronzing sample. I got this one in Ipsy, but I use it as an eyeshadow all the time. And this is just called Anti-Orange Bronzer, and it's from the Balm Cosmetics. So I'm just gonna take like a fluffy crease brush and use that to further just kind of sculpt out my eye shape. And I'm sorry if I'm not looking into the camera constantly. I'm looking in this little mirror. And actually, I really love this. This palette is kind of destroyed. It got dropped, but I love this Tartelette palette as well for like sculpted matte eye looks. It's all mattes and it's all neutrals, and it's served me well over the years. I'm probably going to get another one that is not just absolutely tortured like the one I have. I feel so bad. I'm so sorry. So I usually just from there work my way underneath the eye, and I'm just gonna use this smaller brush, but the same color. And actually sometimes I do this from a little bit farther away, just because it gives more of an idea of the overall shape and shadow that's happening rather than super precise. So, and then sometimes what I'll do is I'll kind of squint so that you get that crease under there. It's very counterintuitive, but it kind of gives a guideline for how low you can take this. It's a really cute face that you make when you do this maneuver. But do you see how it just sort of shaded right underneath the eye without going too low, but not staying too tight to the lash line? Because this is all about like diffusing and blowing out the color. You don't want to stay too tight to the lash line or else it looks too neat and too traditional glam. So now that we have this base, there's kind of this sculpture or sculpting and contouring to the eye shape now. You can see like the recession points where we want everything to go. Now we'll get into our really fun shadows. For some reason, this particular shadow duo from Pixie is just, it just does some really cool things on the eyes, and it really just packs a punch, and you can do a lot with just these two eyeshadows. So this is a mesmerizing mineral duo in mineral bronze. And again, it's kind of bronzy, but it's also a little bit cooler toned or like neutral tone. So I enjoy that because it's not too orangey or, you know, anything like that. It's kind of natural. And I think the shimmer, the slight shimmer, I think I like it because, again, it just has more of that like skin-like sheen to it instead of being perfectly matte and powdery looking. So I'm just using a different fluffy brush, and I'm taking the lighter color, this one, and we're just gonna kind of run that where we ran that first color. As you can see, that's a lot cooler toned. It's not as warm and super bronzy. The wonderful thing about this type of look too is you can be kind of messy and you can just put that eyeshadow like everywhere. And I'm just staying slightly below where I blended out that other color. And if you feel like you get too harsh of a line, you can go back in with your first brush and just blend. And I'm going kind of in a big giant circle all around my eye. So I want to do the same thing again with it underneath with the smaller brush. And we're just basically going to use the darker color now, which is this one. I'm actually going to work with my smaller brush and then an even smaller one. So I'm gonna load up a bunch of product on this brush and we're gonna start working that through the outer corner and the crease. I always start on the outer corner because I want the most concentration of color to be right there. And I have slightly difficult eyes to work with because they don't have a super nice lid space, and there's just like a lot of space above the crease. So I'm always like blowing my eyeshadow like way up so that I can really see the definition of the crease and kind of look a little more deep set, a little bit darker. And you know, sometimes I feel like I put mascara on and everything disappears if it's not kind of high enough over my crease area. I'm just working it all around, and yes, it looks kind of crazy, but sort of supposed to. Even smaller brush, it's just densely packed, and same color, and we're gonna go all the way up under and around this area. And I think something that I noticed about using the small brush in this area to really go around that like shine area, it just kind of gives almost like that magazine, like editorial drama to the eye shape. And I think it kind of changes the vibe from being more of a traditional glam, something slightly more, I don't know what you call it, like, I don't want to say basic, but slightly more basic to something a little more grungy and a little more avant-garde. And I'm just kind of blending like crazy. And we can clean this up with concealer in a moment here. I just want to get, oh yeah, I made a mess. Just want to get under here a little more. Sometimes I don't make as much of a mess, but today I really made a mess. Okay, so since I made such a mess, I'm going to go in with my foundation brush and just, now I don't want to destroy all the work that I did, so don't go up too high. So I go by feel, so sort of like I'm feeling the middle of the brush down here. All we have to do now is kind of put on some eyebrow and mascara. So I'm gonna do some mascara first. This is the Thrive Cosmetics Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara. And it's definitely not super thickening. I am one of those people that's lucky to have pretty good lashes. But I do like how long it makes them look, and it's nice and dark. And it's a tubing mascara, so it's pretty easy to take off. So all I'm doing now is just loading up a bunch of mascara on the bottom. I usually tend to let this be pretty messy. If a couple little spots get underneath there, it doesn't really matter. You can always scrape them away later once it dries if you really want to. But I think it kind of adds to the drama to just sort of have it a little bit messy with the mascara. And you can always like tight line or use like a brown eyeliner pencil on the inside rim. But I tend to not do that as much because my eyes can start to look small if there's too much eyeliner going on. So I'm just using an eyebrow gel, a tinted one. This one is from Sephora and it is just called Brow Builder, and I discovered this a while back and it's part of the Sephora line and I love it. It's nice and dark and I love the weird little spiky brush on it. So there's one side done. I'm just going to gather my supplies for the more silver side and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back with the eyeshadow and everything needed for the other side. So we'll get started on that. Truth be told, my camera died and I lost my first take of this. So I have to reprime my eyelid, and I'm still going to use a little bit of this same paint pot groundwork. But I also found something else in my discoveries that I wasn't going to use originally that I'm going to use now that's going to be better. So I guess it was a blessing in disguise. Okay, so what that is this Revlon Color Stay Cream Eyeshadow. The color is number 755, if that's the actual color name. I don't know. But anyway, it's kind of like a bluey gray, shiny color, and it's a cream. Just going to get a decent amount of that and throw it all over my eyelid. I'm going to use my little small brush and go underneath the eye with that. Sometimes a one color cream eyeshadow look is all that you need as well. So I'm just going to blend that out a little bit. I'm using this now super dirty brush to just blend, but it has all the colors that I used for this side on it, so it's fine. I'm gonna use a slightly cleaner brush to blend the edge a little bit more right here. So we'll try a little bit of this shimmery color on top. It looks really beautiful in the pan, but it's just like a little bit hard coming out while it swatches nicely. So we'll just see how it goes. I don't think that it applies as well as it swatches, unfortunately. So I'm gonna take that big fluffy brush and just kind of hit the contours a little bit. And then I'm gonna take the slightly smaller brush and do a little bit lower in the crease with the same color and a little bit underneath and around that corner, and then even further with the tiny brush, and we're just gonna go right in the corner. It's the same thing on this side. I'm going to clean up. Then we're just gonna do some mascara on this side. Same mascara, same everything. And then we'll just hit the eyebrow a little bit. That's better. So yeah, these are pretty much the finished looks. The brown is usually my go-to just because you can wear pretty much like any lip look with it. Like I usually go for like a reddish sort of lipstick, like a stain sort of vibe with the brown eyeshadow. With something like this, I would probably stick to more of a neutral nude lips. And those are kind of my go-to edgy, grungy, without having to put too much effort in and wear too much black eyeshadow. These are the looks that I will do. Hopefully you got something out of this video. I know it's a little bit different than a lot of the makeup that you see on YouTube and everything these days, but I think it's kind of nice to switch things up and be a little bit different, be a little bit more, I don't know, focused on your lifestyle. Most of the time when I wear kind of glammy makeup, it's because I'm either going to a concert or I'm performing. So this type of technique and just learning about how to do makeup that works for that type of lifestyle makes everything all the more easy for me when it comes down to actually getting ready for a show or something. So that's pretty much all I have for you. So stay tuned for more, and thanks for watching.